what's up, everyone? Welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. My name's Tom Springer. If you haven't met me before, welcome to the show. It's 7 o'clock Central. That means it's 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. For those who don't know how to tell time, that's why I always let you guys know what time I'm on. Anyways, welcome to the show. I'm going to give this a little more time because we're looking for people to pop themselves in, but I do have a very special guest. I'm not going to beat around this bush. I'm just going to bring him on in and we'll roll with it. But the person I got on today is the none other very special, talented, and really good friend, Josh Hurd. So Josh, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Lori, how you doing? So hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. You're going to see this kind of happen throughout basically the whole, I'd say just for the first 5 or 10 minutes, but that's a big fat lie. Kat, and Kat will roll in about half an hour late saying, hey, sorry, I'm late. So I give her grief every time. Everything else. Right? So, hey, Jamie, how you doing? Lori's reaching out saying hi to you.
Lori, what's up? How we doing? No, that's great.
So, yeah. So what's been going on? How's everyone been going?
Oh my God, man. Everything's good. Yeah. It's just now we're finally getting into the busy season here now, right? So like all these different things are happening. Like, Jesus, I'm about to start hitting the road in a very serious way here. So I'm going to be going all over the place. But yeah.
You're going to be doing that in 110-degree weather we're having right now. So that's always great.
It is so hot. Like, it's just not even cool. It's not a good thing. Like last night I actually slept in my living room because it was so hot in the bedroom. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, like, no,
yeah, this ain't right. Yeah.
I slept on the floor, bro. Like, I just don't even care.
Right.
Like, whatever. Just whatever.
So we say hi to a Zhang, this beautiful woman right here. She actually, she was on Paranormal Brew.
She was on last night.
Yeah, she reaches us from Indonesia. So
that's awesome.
Very beautiful to have her out here. So I love the fact she comes on and supports us all the time. So
that's awesome.
And my better half is reaching out to say hi to you. So there's Nick.
Hey, what's up, Nicole? How's it going? I love that.
So yeah, as I warned Josh already, and as some of you people already know, you'll hear this laughing in the background, and it seems like it's delayed. My house is not haunted. Well, it might be, but that's not the reason it's haunted. It's actually my wife laughing in the background because she's sitting at another computer, keeping an eye on our stuff to make sure everything's good, our internet's good, we're not getting bombarded by bots or anything else. So she's kind of my right hand person out there taking care of us.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and there she go. See. So
no way.
So how's the family? All good?
Yeah, everybody seems to be doing good. Everybody's healthy. I mean, it's just like kids are all over the place. You know what I mean? Like softball and all this stuff. It's just all crazy right now. So
yeah, crazy stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get the question I ask everybody out of the way first. I ask everybody the same question. And it's the only question I ever have canned. And it's, how did you get started in the paranormal world? What brought you around to start going, this is what I think I should be doing? So.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I was, I was probably like 12 or 13, right? And I lost an uncle. He passed away. He was 31 years old. So he's quite young. It was a very weird, traumatic time. But there was very odd things like surrounding his death that like very personal experiences that I was having,
right,
and the family was having, and all this stuff. Like, I mean, it was one of those things. It was one of those moments where it's like, okay, something bigger than us is happening. Now, I mean, as a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, whatever, like this is a very lofty concept to grasp, right? Like you're just now able to grasp the finality of death, right? So
yeah,
it's like Uncle Todd is gone. He was my best friend. He is not coming back. And this hit so hard. Like I have never been that sad, in my entire life.
Right.
But it was through all of these weird, like, I mean, just bouts of crying and all of this stuff, this trauma, that some really beautiful things happened at the same time, these personal experiences that I was having that really got me asking the bigger questions in life. But that's also then when I started, I I literally just dove in head first. Here we go.
Very cool.
I started reading, the Hans Holzer, different parapsychological case studies, the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren, all of this stuff. And I was just consuming as much paranormal content as I possibly could. And of course, back then, there was no such thing as paranormal reality TV. There wasn't even reality TV.
Right.
So it was just, but yeah, so I remember sitting there. I would read and read and read. I would scare the crap out of myself. And then I would go to bed, get up, go to school, and do all this stuff,
Right.
Yeah. And then just start it all over again. Just continuous to do this. All the time. So it was great. But that's really kind of what set me on the path of all of this was, losing my uncle. If it wasn't for that process and that trauma, I don't know what I would be doing, to be quite honest with you. I can't see myself doing anything else.
Ever done this. So tell people, we kind of jumped over the, hey, tell people about yourself. I did a little write-up on you, but some people just look at the pretty pictures and see that I put a video out and they're like, oh, that guy, I'm going to go talk to that guy. So they don't actually read the write-up, so they don't know anything about you outside of Tom has a guest on. Cool.
Yeah. No, I guess I'm a paranormal author, lecturer, investigator, filmmaker, now narrator of audiobooks on Audible and things like that. Like I do all sorts of different things. I got my fingers in a lot of pies, you know what I mean? Like trying to figure out what's going on. But so it's like I'm a very busy individual. I really am. But it's a good type of busy. You know what I mean? I feel like it's positive stuff that I'm doing. So yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. And of course, I also like the day job is curator of Malvern Manor.
I was just going to say, tell them where you're sitting at right now, because I know that background you're at.
So I was like, what the hell else do I do? I'm like, oh yeah, dummy. I'm like, I'm right here.
Sitting in this place that
I'm like, that's what I do. Yeah. God dang.
Jamie's like, love Hans Holzer, but he's hard to read and focus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Hans Holzer was a different breed, right? Like, I still consider him kind of like that godfather figure of what became the modern day ghost hunting milieu. You know what I'm saying? It's very weird. But yeah, like he's a fascinating character for sure. And yeah, like Audible is my jam as well. Like I'm driving all over the place. So if I'm in the car, if I'm on a plane, if I'm wherever, like that's what's happening. So yeah,
cool. Yeah, and that's what you're doing too. So you have that. Hi, this is Josh Hurd. Welcome to my Audible.
Yeah, that's it. I just let me up the bass a little bit here on the voice. Yeah. Really get that boom behind it. Yeah,
right. So I got to ask. I have been in the location you're at right now. So people who don't know, he's in Malvern, Iowa. He's at Malvern Manor. Give a little background of Malvern, if you would, what it was in the past, and how you came about procuring this. So,
yeah.
What's up, Stuart?
So yeah, Malvern Manor is an interesting place, right? So we know the building itself was built in 1869. It was the fourth structure that was built in town. So literally the town is popping up around this place. It ran as a hotel primarily, mainly just servicing the railroad, but ran as a hotel all the way up until the 1950s. So it did pretty well there, had a pretty good run, but then becomes what we would consider to be more of like the nursing home setting.
Yep.
The nursing home doesn't last very long, only a couple of decades. And then it becomes more of what I consider to be just a group home for mentally handicapped people. Now, what they deemed a mental disorder back in the 70s is rather different than today. That's putting it mildly. But the clientele here was very vast. We know it's like things that we see every day, right? People with drug and alcohol abuse, people with Down syndrome, very common type ailments.
Yes.
And then of course, then we also had people that were, I guess, more exotic cases, right? DID, or used to refer to as multiple personalities, schizophrenics, even murderers are housed here. like a very eclectic group of people coexisting together under the same roof, especially by today's standards. And then it ran as such all the way until 2005, when it was ultimately then shut down for the final time. But yeah. I mean, that's Malvern Manor in a nutshell, you know. But now it's just a 10,000 square foot paranormal playground. You know,
it definitely is. So just so people know, this is one of the places that I go to a lot because it's really close to me. It's 30-45 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
We're really close over here, and I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Well, Bellevue, Nebraska, but people seem to know Omaha more than do Bellevue.
Yeah.
But Omaha, Nebraska. So we go over there and go hang out with Josh and go check out the place, and I have stories for that place for days because in fact, my wife went over there the first time she went over there, and she sat in this little girl's room, and little girl named Inez, and she sat in there, and you guys just did a big investigation that whole weekend, and we came in at the tail end of the investigation. And my wife is a school teacher, and she's very good with kids, and she sits down, and she's never done this before, and she sits down and she turns on her phone, and she starts asking Inez questions, and she's talking about, oh, I'm sure you guys must be, you must be tired from all these people coming through here. I bet you'd like to take a nap, or that, like something along the lines of you'd like to a little rest or take a break, wouldn't you? You could not hear it with the ear, but in the recording, you hear a girl go, "Yeah, I'm tired," and you're like, "Whoa, wait, what?" So
what just happened? Yeah,
right. We played it back, and Nikki's like, "Whoa, can you listen to this?" I'm like, "I hear that," and
so crazy.
Oh yeah, it was great, and there's all kinds of stuff in there that this is a place you guys want to go check out. If you haven't seen it before or heard of it, it's Midwest. It's not only is it, I mean, Josh Hurt is there, for Christ's sakes. So go see him.
Yeah.
But it's a great place to go investigate. And then right around the corner, they have an awesome little restaurant where you can go and get really good fries and ice cream.
Right. So, right. I gotta pump the brakes on the ice cream though, man. I haven't. Like over the winter and stuff, like I eat too much junk, you know. Come summertime, I'm like, damn it.
Right. Like, stop being so close to my place.
Right. Like, this is terrible.
So
oh my God.
We'll get into a bunch of stuff tonight, but just sitting here, I know some of the stories, but not all of them. So I want to ask, and I want you to help explain to the audience who Mitch is.
Yes. So Mitch is kind of like the fifth member of G Crew, right? And Mitch is just a foul-mouthed, usually chemically altered in some fashion. He's just an asshole, is what he is.
Right?
Okay, basically. He likes to talk a lot of smack to the boys of G Crew. Yeah,
and he's especially an asshole to one in particular person.
To Chad, like he really doesn't like Chad, and I think it's because Chad stole his girlfriend Michelle, and so Michelle now lives with Chad, and it's kind of a touchy subject, you know. But you know, it is what it is, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
So we were going to talk about that further, but let's go ahead and touch on that since you're right there. So you said, hey, all the guys in G Crew, tell them who G Crew is so they get to know what kind of riffraff you run with.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So G Crew is a ragtag group of ne'er-do-wells, including myself, Johnny Hauser, Chad Lindberg, and Nick Groff.
Yes.
And so it's just us four buttheads and Mitch, obviously. But I mean, we just sit around, we prank call our friends, and, you know, we just talk shop for, you know, an hour or two a week. And
it's online. So for those of you who want to watch it, you can actually go watch them do this. Yes, this is something you can go witness in real life, or at least this kind of real life, to where you can watch it happen. And it's freaking hilarious.
That's what's fun about G Crew too. We do it exactly like this setup. It's all through StreamYard. It's very interactive. We bring people onto the show. You know what I mean? Like we have fun with it. And it's $1. It's $1 a month. You know what I'm saying? For a G Crew membership. So it's like
experience.
The experience. That's
the experience.
What a great word.
The dollar alone is worth the experience you get with these guys.
What a word.
I don't care. I don't care, male, female, prude,
Yeah.
asshole, whatever you are, when you watch G Crew, you will end up going to work the next day and going, dude, let me tell you about what I just watched.
Dude. Like, you're not going to believe what just happened. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
They allowed this.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, that just happened.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
also have behind you, next to Mitch on the opposite side, you have a bunch of what's the Ghostbuster fascination?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, I have always been into Ghostbusters. Always. Like, I remember being like a little dude watching Ghostbusters and like memorizing every line of that movie and just could recite it on cue, you know? And so it's like Ghostbusters has always just been like near and dear to my heart. And so it's like when the second one came out, I was in the theaters as like a little kid, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, this is awesome. And I had like all the toys. And then, you know, we had like nothing, you know, from Ghostbusters until just recently, really within the last 10 years or so, when they did the reboot with the female cast, which my daughters freaking love that movie. It's like we went and saw it like 3 times, like all this stuff that we have to own all the copies and stuff of that too. So, and then this past year, good Lord, my friend, I don't even want to tell you the amount of tears I cried watching the newest installment as well. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is gut wrenching in the best way. In the best way.
And you're like, oh, this is supposed to be kind of like the last one, but please don't be the last one.
It's not gonna be. They just announced another one. And I'm
another one.
Am I over here doing my chubby kid happy dance? You know what I mean? It's great. I love it.
Outstanding. So, we talked Malvern. Oh, so one thing you do is, well, one of many numerous things you do, because you're just a Renaissance man of your own time.
Oh God. I love that.
So you talked about you're a filmmaker. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Let me do this right now. So people, pay close attention. I know you don't really listen to me much, but down here, what I have scrolling here is once it comes back around, because it's nice and slow, Josh Hurd Productions. Yeah. At joshhurd.net. If you go out there, he has a bunch of trailers that you can go check out. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of it's his filmmaker stuff he's doing. And you do stuff like 1903, and you have stuff out there like Intelligent Design, and then you have all the A Brush with Evils 1 through 3. So I mean that's what. So if you go out there and you want to know what those are like, I'm going to tell you to talk about them anyways. But for the if you're, so here's how I have to explain this to people, and anyone who knows military will understand this. If you're enlisted, you will understand the word he's saying when he talks. But if you're an officer and you fly a plane and everything else, we have pictures and moving objects for you, so you can go look and understand it. It seems like officers really don't understand words or read very well, so they have to just look at the pretty pictures as they go by. Those are called videos, so you can go look at those. But yeah, let's touch on your film stuff, man. That's outstanding.
Yeah, dude. Filmmaking was never like one of those things that I really set out to do. It was one of those things that I tried and then enjoyed it so much that I kind of caught the bug, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do this again. And now I have this idea and this idea and this idea. And I just want to do as much as I can. And it was ridiculous because, like, I guess I didn't realize what goes into making a film. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a crazy process. 90% of filmmaking is problem solving, if I'm being honest. You know, you smoke a lot of cigarettes and you say a lot of curse words, and that's about that. And then you get the shot however you can. But like that's what you do. Right. But no, like it was interesting. Like when we were filming A Brush with Evil. That was my first introduction into filmmaking, and day one, the wheels already were falling off, you know, like I had 90 90% of the crew that I was flying in from Los Angeles had then read my book and said, no, I want nothing to do with this. And they quit. So I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So what initially, like, I had all this equipment rented, and I'm talking thousands of dollars worth of high-end stuff, and it was already coming to my door, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
these dudes are like, sorry, no way. So I still had a bare bones crew coming from California, and then they got there, we set up, and so what initially was going to become, like, it was going to be a very gorgeous, cinematic looking documentary, immediately became this dirty, gritty, run and gun type of film, right? I'm like, look, we're going to have to hold cameras. And as far as the sound guy, he's gone. We got to put mics on the cameras and all this stuff. You know, we got to, like, roll with the punches, right?
Right.
It was just weird, man. Like, my father, like, the day one of filming, my father was admitted into the hospital that morning, and we were like, had a 4 o'clock in the afternoon call time. So I was in the hospital all day with dad, and then met the crew, geared up, and started going. Now, we were filming the first night then over across the street at the Classic Cafe in Malvern, Iowa, which has its own slew of paranormal happenings. They were kind enough to say, come on in, film, whatever. Yeah. There's a bar that's attached to the Classic Cafe, and I didn't realize that. And with noise contamination, we could not investigate. So here we are again. So before we even are rolling, really, I'm like, now what? You know, so I go outside, I'm smoking my angry cigarette and trying to come up with a plan B, because day one's screwed.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman outside in the beer garden who was roughly 3 sheets to the wind anyway, but he was like, hey, dude, what's with all the cameras? And I was like, well, this guy's either going to think I'm caca duty shit crazy, or he's going to think this is really cool, right? So I'm like, here we go. This is what we're doing.
Here.
Yeah. So he was like, you know, man, I really, because it's fascinating stuff. I really don't believe in it. However, you know, there's certain things that happen to me at this one place that I have, and he goes, I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on there. And he went into the history of the place. You know, it used to be a hotel and this and that and the other, and it's 10,000 square feet and things are crazy. And he's like, whatever. And I was like, where is this place? He's like, right there across the street. And I'm like, cool. Like, he let us in that night. And it was weird because, like, you watch the first 10 minutes of A Brush with Evil and you don't even realize, like, that's us literally stumbling upon this building that we're going to one day then call Malvern Manor.
Right.
Like, whatever. It's weird, but that's the weird stuff that happens. You know what I mean? Like, I've stopped believing in coincidence. How about that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, stopped entirely. But yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, so welcome to our second grade film project. My name is Josh Hurd, and today,
Yes,
right.
Yes. I'm telling you.
So Jamie's saying that they have a Louisiana Ghostbusters. They go around to the hospitals. So she lives.
Awesome.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome.
And William wants to know what's wrong with the bar. Ghosts can be a DD if you're drunk.
You know, I tell you, that's a good one too. Like I trust me, I have no problem with a bar. Trust me on that. But yeah, it was weird. Like, it was a Friday night anyway. Strike one, strike two.
Yeah.
It must have been a rough week for a lot of people because they were really tying it on. And so, like, with noise contamination, there was no way that we could investigate anything that night. No way. But yeah, so it was pretty cool.
So after that, I don't want to say fiasco because it worked out.
It did. It kind of worked out, you know.
So let's go with debacle. That's probably a safer word for this.
Yeah, there you go.
You went ahead and did 2 and 3. So
yeah, so like A Brush with Evil 2, since we already then had Malvern Manor up and running and established,
right,
had access to the building, I was like, well, I kind of handed it over to my wife, and she said, I have this idea, and I want to try like a series of experiments. You can't know what it is. And I was like, okay, imagine my frustration that she's saying, I have this thing of like this string of experiments that I want to try on you and your buddies. You're the one making the film and you can't know what this is. I'm like, this makes zero sense. Makes zero sense. So what she did, and this was fascinating to me. Like, I have to tip my hat to her because this was fascinating. She is a combat vet herself, right? She worked in combat stress in Iraq. So she really, if we're being honest, I can swear on here, can't I? Can I cuss? A little bit? Not really. She can really head screw.
Hold on. You're good.
Perfect.
I got it all for everybody, let me tell you.
But honestly, like, she knows how to handle that head screw. You know what I mean? Like, if she really wants to get in there and mess with somebody's head, she can do that.
You can say how I put that up. So
perfect. So yeah, she could head fuck people. Right? And so what she did was, initially right out of the gate, she divided us up. There's a team of girls that are novices, and they go and they investigate for an hour. And then there's the team that we are, the professionals, which we're not, right? Of us, like our core team of people who you would see in Brush with Evil 1, and we go and investigate for an hour. And then we kind of compare, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that was it. I swear to God. And so I stood down here and I was just like right. Good job. Like, right, I mean, right. What are you going to do with this? What do I do with this? I'm not going to make anything out of this. Like, this is nothing. So then it was interesting because she says, everybody stay in this room, which is now my studio here. So we're all sitting here, and one by one, she was pulling people out and taking us down to what we call the Shadow Man hallway, where we had it set up for interviews. And it was interesting because what she was doing then was really setting the stage for the remainder of the night. And she was asking a very specific battery of questions. As a paranormal investigator, what do you use most? As far as your senses go, right?
Right.
Whatever your answer was exactly what they were about to take away from you. They were going to deprive you of that sense, right?
Yeah.
Me being the dumbass that I am, I'm like, oh, I use everything. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a burlap sack.
Right. So imagine now me doing a solo, you know, like everybody had to be solo when they did this. Like, it was terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine me sitting in a chair, tied to the chair, blindfolded with earplugs, you know, shoved down into my ear canals. So I'm hearing nothing. I'm seeing nothing. I'm just feeling the room, you know. It was some of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in my life.
Just
it was
that anxiety building in you. What is there?
Because you have no idea what's happening until you're already in the chair, you know. And so now I was like, okay, now we have a movie, you know. Now we got this. And then, of course, like A Brush with Evil 3 was a really cool experiment that we did between Malvern Manor and the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas. Where we split that core team of people in half. Half of us went there, half of us stayed here. And at very specific times, we were trying to elicit responses from the other location. Zero communication between anyone. Just at this specific time, you ask this specific question or whatever, right? And we weren't even privy to the questions until you opened the envelope that was handed to you. And like, this was foolproof, you know, this was great. And surprisingly, it worked. So again, I was like very happy with the results there.
So was number 3 also your wife's idea?
No, that was all. I mean, that was all like me and my buddies. And I have a really cool pal named Paul Kosis, who I just call the Wizard because he just comes up with this really cool equipment all the time. And he figured out a way where he could monitor what was going on in both locations through audio. So he had Malvern Manor in his left ear and he had Sally House in his right ear. And then he could write down anything that could potentially be significant at what location and timestamp it. Then we could kind of correlate to see if anything truly did happen. Right. Holy crap. Fascinating stuff with him. Like, I don't even know how the hell he does any of this. Like, there's 150 miles between the two locations, you know, like, what are you doing? How are you doing this? But I don't ask questions. I just sounds great, man. Like,
right.
But yeah.
Right. I mean, that's just insane that that's the kind of stuff that you're doing. And I keep, and, you know, and I'm ecstatic that you're on my show because I'm a big Josh Hurd fan.
Oh, brother.
And I'm
Thank you.
telling people, look, see that right there? Go look at this, because this is the stuff he's putting out here. So make sure you're going out to joshhurd.net and go check these out. This is the Josh Hurd Productions. You also do intelligent design.
Dude. Yeah, okay. That was one of my favorite films to do, honestly. Like, intelligent design was one of those things where it's like you sit down and you hear a concept of something, right? Like, it's hard for me to explain what it is. Do I believe in a God, right? Do I believe in God as we would traditionally say God? Probably not. Do I believe in a creator? Yes. Do I believe in, I don't know, man. Like, it's so hard for me to pigeonhole myself like that. You know, I would even consider myself a Christian. Sure. Are you going to see me in church every week? No.
I'm exactly the same way. I'm very spiritual. I'm very spiritual.
And maybe that's a perfect word for it. Spiritual, right?
But I'm not religious. So,
right.
Yes.
So it was interesting to me because I started seeing all of these things, and it really, if I'm being honest with you, it kind of scared me. It really kind of tripped me out, right? So basically, like, if I was to tell you that the wind blows at the exact same rate as a tree grows, as at the exact same rate also as a human being would grow, and everything that is observable in this world that we call reality all falls under the exact same set of rules. It doesn't make sense. So everything is at a rate of 1 to 1.6. Okay? That's it. That's it. 1 to 1.6. So if you take your hand, and you guys that are watching right now can do this little experiment with me or whatever, take your hand.
Everybody's going to do it now. Watch.
Yeah, so watch. So take your hand, and let's just focus momentarily on the middle finger. It's my favorite finger. Let's just focus momentarily on the middle digit, okay? So if you have this little section here, you have from the tip of your finger until that first crease, that first knuckle, right? Yeah. We'll call that 1. Okay, we'll call that a rate of 1. Okay. So now if you take that same rate and then you go right here from that knuckle down, so where you just were, down, that is your 1.6. Okay. So you have your 1 and then you have your 1.6 right here. Now let's take it even a step further. You have the tip of your finger to the base right here of your palm. We'll call that 1. Now you have from here to here, the really tip top of your wrist, the bottom part of your palm, that is your 1.6. So you have your 1 to 1.6. The top of your head to your belly button, that is 1. The belly button to the bottom of your feet, that is 1.6. Every single one of us is exactly like this. Every single one of us grows at that rate, 1 to 1.6, which is the exact same rate that a tree grows and branches out, 1 to 1.6, which is also, if you notice a hurricane or a tornado, it is spiraling outward at a rate of 1 to 1.6. The cresting of a wave is 1 to 1.6. And again, how the wind blows, 1 to 1.6. Look at a sunflower. It is spiraling outward. And it's all this beautiful thing called the golden ratio, which is also tied in with the Fibonacci sequence, right? Which is trippy in and of itself. However, it's too damn perfect. It's too damn perfect. Like, if we're being honest, it's way too perfect. None of this is accidental, which tells me that there is some form of grand design. Call it God, call it whatever the hell you want, a grand architect, if you will. I am being a math nerd, and I hate math. This is why this was so significant to me. It's
funny she says that because she's a math teacher. So,
see, Nicole, we may need to you may need to teach me a few things here, but it's amazing to me because, like, again, everything was too perfect, and so I wanted to sit down and really dig into this, and that's it right there, sacred geometry. That is it. So yeah, we made that film, intelligent design, because I mean, Jesus, like it hit me like a ton of bricks, it really did. And so yeah, like I had to go with it. I had to run with that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's got to be a plan in place.
It was one of those weird films. Like usually, like I'll put pen to paper and I'll just write. everything out, and then months go by, and then you start filming, and then a year goes by, and then you're editing and all that stuff. No, this was like, oh my God, I have to make this now.
Right.
And just go.
Yeah. And Jamie, I understand your concern because was she talking about? Was she talking about the man sitting next to me over here? Was she talking about me? Because we know that we've already identified me as a math nerd. So we've talked about. Oh, see that? There you go, right there. Because Nikki has heard me talk about the way that all the different parallel universes don't actually line up to be parallels, but they arc. And the reason you know that is because when they meet up, that's when you have that overlapping of time where you see someone either from in the past or from the future or someone, and you're like, wait, that time wasn't supposed to be now. So they're going to keep going on, and they're going to keep diverging away from each other until they meet up again.
Exactly.
So that wave is what's happening throughout all of time.
And that's our issue, isn't it? Because we think of everything so God blessed linear.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And so it's not a good time to tell them that I'm a 32-degree Mason.
Well, that a boy. I love that. Not a good time.
I also don't tell people about my my nerdy stuff in math as well. So
I cannot. I've tried, guys. I've tried with math. And I'm just, I'm not. My wife is an accountant, so that helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Yes, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, Jamie, is the collapsing timelines, is because they run. So what I tell people, the best way to think of it is that instead of latitude on the Earth, how it runs, everything is parallel and they'll always stay 60 degrees. Here's my nerdity coming out. We're the longitudinal side, where at the poles they actually converge. Yeah. And think of it as just a series of worlds to where we've met at one point, we're going around, we're separating out, everything's happening again, and then we're going to meet again, but that crosses and it forms another world, and then it comes back and meets up again. And it's just that series. It almost looks like an overlapping DNA sequence. But I tell people that's right. But I tell people that it actually is the longitudinal lines of history that are collapsing upon themselves at one time, which is when we get the pictures of, hey, why is this person in 1950 holding a cell phone? Yeah. Well, that's another timeline that has crossed into our time stream at that part that has already taken place. But now they have to separate out again before they converge again, and next time it's going to be something else. Yeah. So yes, it's very interesting how all of this seems to work in and tie together, and so many mathematical concepts.
I mean, it's weird, right? I mean, even that right there, like what you're describing. I mean, Christ, like even the DNA helix that we all know and represent, right. and yep. I mean, that's spiraling outward at what, a rate of 1 to 1.6. You know what I mean? Like it is. Like all of this, our very construct, down to the smallest. It's all there. Yeah. It's literally everything, guys. And this is just, it's always just blown my mind. And so,
yeah. So people that don't understand that I actually understand the quantum mathematics of theoretical statistics. I actually took those courses. Nerd.
Sorry, right? Nerd.
So
sorry.
I completely understand that, and it hurts my brain. And
it does.
It does. It's stupid. Yeah. That we're supposed to know these, and what's even worse is that somehow we stumble across these things. Like we're supposed to know about them. Yeah. Like there's something that says, hey, by the way, I'm going to give you this information to help you understand that the construct really is designed, not by chance, but it's a design. Yeah. And now it's your turn to figure out what I'm telling you.
It's always fascinated me too, because it kind of begs the question, right? Because I look around now and I see everybody, like we're all very busy individuals, and we've made ourselves busy individuals, right? Like we've made ourselves as such. We have, cell phones in our pockets and generally in our hand, and we're checking Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or God knows what, right?
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
we have, I don't know. It makes me wonder if there wasn't a time before all of this distraction, all this noise, if there wasn't a time where this was just known, accepted knowledge.
Yeah.
It was just like, dude, yeah, that's just the way it goes. Just like,
Well,
yeah, why is the grass green? You know, why is the sky blue? Like things like that. Like we just knew.
Right.
Wow.
And that I ask those stupid questions like, why is the dog called a dog? What made it be called a dog?
Yeah.
You know, and just
dude, I'm the exact same way.
I'm like, but why? Why you know, what makes that separation?
I totally feel that, like questioning everything, right?
Yeah.
And like I was telling this story last night on an interview that I was giving, that I went to the principal's office in second grade because I was arguing with the smartest kid in class, right? And I was arguing with him because I was like, what color is this? It was orange, you know? And I was like, but how do you know it's orange?
Right.
I'm like, what if orange to you is black to me or green to me or whatever? Like, it's only orange because we're told it's orange.
Yeah.
We're conditioned to know that that's orange.
Yep.
But your orange could be different than my orange. It could be something entirely different. It's like, this became quite the thing. And I'm very tenacious, like when it comes to certain things. And I was just a stubborn little turd, you know, and I was like, I got sent to the office because of it, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole construct behind when I talk to people about, hey, time's not a real thing. We created
Correct.
time.
Correct.
It's not a real thing at all. No. It's just because we decided to put this hour hand and this minute hand onto something and said, hey, look, now we have time.
We had to map out that big burning thing in the sky for a minute, you know?
Right.
We had to figure out what the hell's going on with that thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Stuart must be hungry because he used the wrong meats, but then he corrects himself down here.
When a spermatozoa meets an egg, is that what he just said was the big bang? I love that. Okay.
And then William comes on and says, I had a dog that was in love with the cat and they had a litter of dats.
Oh, that's hot.
How come they were dats? How come they weren't cots?
That dog's like, don't kink shame me. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. So bad.
So wrong.
Oh my God.
All right. So we've covered, I'm moving forward. We've gone Brush with Evil 1 through 3.
Yeah.
We've done intelligent design. Let's talk 1903.
Yeah. Okay. 1903 is ridiculous. So I'm even wearing like the shirt, right? Because every year I go to the Van Meter Visitor Festival. So 1903 is this weird documentary that I did all about a cryptid, this winged bat-like creature that was spotted towards the end of September and early October back in 1903 in this small little farming community that's nestled right up next to Des Moines, Iowa, named Van Meter. And this wasn't just like, these were like townspeople that were literally witnessing this, taking shots at this thing. And this wasn't like your town drunk. You know what I'm saying? This was like doctors, lawyers, bankers, people with things to lose, reputations on the line. And they're swearing up and down like, no, like I saw it. I literally shot at this thing 3, 4, 5 times or whatever. Crazy. So on the final night that this happened, everybody obviously in town had heard about this, like, oh my gosh, this monster or whatever, right? And it reminds me, like, thinking about it is like, reminds me of like a pterodactyl, is what we would consider like a pterodactyl, right?
Right.
And the final night, everybody just gathers around and they're waiting. They literally say that they have more ammunition, enough ammunition to take down the Spanish Armada, is what they said. Okay. Like, imagine they're just ready to roll. And it's like the thing shows up and literally everybody starts taking shots at this thing. Yeah. Everybody's firing at this thing and they chase it outside of town where the coal mines were. Now this thing goes into a coal mine. Right. And then in true 1903 fashion, I mean, really still kind of today's fashion where we shoot first and ask questions later.
Right.
What do? They dynamite the mine. They blow up the mine and they collapse it. So whatever went down in there is still down there. So 1903 was us kind of recounting this tale, us talking to some of the local historians and things like that, like really getting a feel for Van Meter as a community, and then going out there and sleeping right there by the mines and using my buddy Paul, who I was talking about, using some of his like very sensitive types of equipment that could potentially hear down into the mine and all of this stuff. It's a crazy film. What actually happens in the film, I was not expecting. I certainly wasn't expecting to witness what we witnessed like 7 times. Like we captured every single one of these things on film.
Wow.
Like it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It makes no sense to me. And I want to go back. I want to do another one. You know what I mean? But this time I have other ideas, you know.
So William says they dug the mine open again.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it. So
just
I have some sweet talking to do. Because before, when we went out there, we were not, and here's a funny little side note for you. When we went out there, we were not privy to go on to the mine. It's a liability, and I totally understand that, like, especially as the landowner themselves, that's cool. Discovery Channel, or excuse me, Travel Channel comes in, and they weasel their way. They got their way to do things, and that's fine. That's fine. And so they got to excavate a little bit, which was awesome to see, by the way. Awesome to see. And I don't know how this happened, but somehow they got word that I was putting out 1903 about the same time that frickin' thing was about to air, right? So they aired the episode, which, again, I enjoyed that episode. I liked it. They aired it a week before we were able to, release ours. We released ours butted up right next to the Van Meter Visitor Festival that they have in town every year. So it was really cool, though. If you watch the episode, they used my drone footage for that. So they kindly reached out to me and asked if they could do that. And of course I said, yeah, of course, as long as I can still own it, then do with it as you please. So that was nice of them. That was really cool. But yeah, so I wanted to beat him to the punch, and I didn't. But yeah.
So William Nighthawk, who we've seen pop on here a couple of times.
Yeah.
He is a cryptid hunter historian by trade.
I love that.
He's a Native American shaman. Vet, all that other wonderful stuff, does all the background search and everything else. So
I love that.
He actually has shows that runs about cryptids and stuff like that too. So it's funny because he's talking at the same time you are with the messaging, and he's confirming what you're saying and saying,
"Oh,
hey,
cool,
this is going on. It's back, and they dug the mine open, and
so
it's I'm listening to you and watching him, and you're just like, yep, it's just like
awesome. That's awesome. I love that. That's very cool, though.
So,
I got to tell you, man, like I tip my hat to the cryptid hunters, because that's not me. It's something that it was something that was new to me. Now, I went out there expecting to tell a story and spend the night at a creepy location and experience nothing.
Yeah.
What actually happened was, and I'm telling you, was something very interesting. Like numerous times throughout the night, especially when we were walking closer to that mine area, right? There's this specific tree that kind of stands there.
Right.
And this little gravel path or whatever that you can walk down. But getting closer and closer to the mine and that tree specifically, there was this very odd pulsating type of noise. And we weren't even certainly we were hearing it.
Right.
But we were feeling it, more importantly, feeling it. And it was one of those things where it almost was like a feeling of dread. I don't know if that's the right term, but it was certainly spooky for sure. To the point where it's like even Johnny Hauser, that was the only time I've ever heard Johnny say, I want to go home.
Wow.
And I said, well, I'm your ride, so you're screwed. You know what I mean? Sorry, dude. No, we're not going home. You know? like, I'll go to Casey's and get you a 6-pack. Just shut up.
Just something,
I was like,
yeah.
it's fine, just chill. But no, like it was just like it was a very odd feeling experience to have, and for multiple people on that cast and crew to experience the same thing.
Mm.
It was odd. Like it was
Yeah.
very odd. But then there was also very odd things that were happening above us, in the skies, and looking at different radars and things like that. Like I know for a fact that wasn't us.
Yeah.
Like that was not us.
Yeah, you're not picking stuff up on the radar. There's
No,
just,
sir.
yeah.
No, sir. And
Yeah.
this was fascinating. And so it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, is this just one of those really weird areas of the country that just weird things happen? Like, call it a hell mouth, call it whatever the hell you want, man. Like, is that just a weird section of America?
Yeah.
You know, like, or the world that just weird things happen for whatever reason? Maybe. I don't know. I'd love to find out, sure, definitively, but shit, like, I don't know if we're ever going to know. That's weird.
And that goes back to the other thing where you talked about we probably did know before, but now our heads are so wrapped up in other stuff that now we don't. So,
you know, and I talked about that last night too. It's like there was this really cool theory about like ley lines and all of that stuff, you know? And it's like I've seen numerous maps about ley lines.
Yeah.
Which one's the right one, though? Because I can't find them that correlate. I can't find a ley line map that looks like another ley line map. So tell me which one is the right one, and I'll use it.
Yes, and I don't think,
because it's a fascinating theory in and of itself.
It is. Yes, it is. I wish I could remember who it was, but there's someone that I have talked to recently. I believe it's somebody who's going to be on my show sometime down the road here shortly.
Yeah.
But they get the feelings when they're on the ley lines. Like that's the further they're away, they're like, nope, nothing's here. But when they get drawn towards the ley lines, they're like, whoa. And so they can start feeling that sense of power coming from the ley line.
That's cool.
So yeah. And that's what Jamie's saying. That's where I was going. Earth has energy points activated by the stars.
Yes.
So that's why they're not always the same.
And that makes sense. It's like, that's what I want to know. Like, okay, right here at this exact spot, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I need. I need it spelled out for me.
It's not like you're going to walk through DC and you're going to say, okay, so this is where the White House is. And this is, they're not marked like that. And they're not always going to be the same. So
that's what's fascinating to me. Yeah.
So, and the best way the person described it to me when they were talking about when they get the feelings, and they said, if you've ever watched, oh my goodness, I got to remember the name of the movie. John Travolta was in it. He had the head problem where he was able to feel the earthquakes happen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what the person said it felt like. They can feel the energy pulses in the earth when they're near a ley line.
I remember that film. What the hell was that called? That was a great movie. Yeah.
Jamie says, I can see them, but an energy reader can, I think. So,
yeah.
So Jamie, that's interesting because I know that I don't want to say I'm an energy stealer, but I know that I draw energy in from like elementals, and I draw them in from earth and from anything else around so I can share with others. So I wonder if I am an energy reader as well. I don't know. That's something I haven't ever looked into. You and I may need to talk sometime down. Jamie's actually going to be on my show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, coming up in the not so distant future. She's actually going to be one of my guests.
That's cool.
Which is fantastic. But phenomenon. So yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Thanks, William. You're the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the person said it feels like when they're by them. And even Jamie says, makes my hands tingle. We already different, and I can't see them. They look like red spot. Holy cow! Are you serious? I always tell people, like, when I have to close, when people tell me to close my eyes to try to picture something, everything to me looks like red, almost like electrical wire, almost like a spider web, but like red electrical wire that's on a gray or a black background.
That's
Like
fascinating.
whenever anyone tells me to do that, when I close my eyes, I see like a red, I don't know if to me it looks like a spider web, or it looks like a chain link fence or something. But it's all red pulsing. So that's kind of interesting. And she said, "Yep, silver sometimes." So that's interesting. We definitely need to talk later then, because we're right on that for me. So that's
really
interesting.
cool.
Yeah. So let's see. So I know that you have to have this belief as well, because I mean, you have Mitch behind you.
Yeah.
And Mitch is real, and
Mitch is very real. Yeah.
Seen aliens. So,
yes.
So you have the paranormal belief, you have the cryptid belief, and so you have to have the UFO belief as well, right?
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. However, like, I will also say that is the one thing that truly scares me. And I'll tell you why. Like, it's weird, right? So, like, if we're talking aliens and things such as that, like, it gets under my skin in a very weird way. And the only reason I say this is, I remember one time I was visiting my mom, and she lives in Omaha, Nebraska. And I was at her house. It was like 4:00 in the morning, and I was outside smoking before bed and all that stuff. It's like, I'm doing my thing, and up in the sky, I saw something that it didn't just appear. It kind of went whoop up into just like right there. And it was so fast, and it was just there, and it just stayed stationary. So for it to go like, wow, like really quick, and then just stop, it was fascinating. But then it started to go, and it wasn't making a noise or anything like that. Right. However, it was then emitting this weird green thing from the bottom of it. And that was like, okay. And then it literally just went and kind of blinked out of existence faster than I could really fathom. The whole experience, start to finish, was maybe 6 to 7 seconds tops. And the entire time that I was observing this, it was this weird feeling inside of me, like a very weird carnal thing, like that. It was like, you're not supposed to see this. Like, it felt wrong, if that makes sense. Like, it felt wrong. Like, I just got my hands like caught in the cookie jar, and you're like, oh, that terrifying moment where mom's like, Josh, all that stuff, right? That it was like I'm not supposed to see this.
It's like when that dog makes eye contact when he's pooping. You're like, oh, I should look away. Yeah.
God, damn it. It's like when the masseuse starts a conversation, you're like, shut up.
Just no. Just no. I don't need to hear about this.
You're making it weird now. Stop, please. You're making it weird, right? And that was like, but that was it. It was like this weird thing that was like, I'm not supposed to be seeing this. This is wrong.
Yep.
That's it. Like spider sense going crazy, right? And I kind of joke about this, honestly. Like, I always kind of joke that I'm about as psychic as a blade of grass or a rock in the driveway, right? I'm just not at all, or at least I don't think I am. But I mean, that was weird. Like, that was like a weird thing inside of me that was just like an alarm going off, like, no.
So it's almost like it showed up and went, all right, we got one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, not him.
No, not him. It's like, oh, there's one dude right there, and they're like, I don't know, man. No. They're like, probably not. It's like, you're good, but you're not good enough. Yeah, we're just gonna pass on this. Get out of here. Take us back up. Like,
it's 4:00 in the morning and he's going to bed. No,
this is not exactly. It's like, this is not our people. This is not who we need right now. Right? We need that go-getter who's up and ready to roll at 5 a.m. Right?
If he was getting up and he's gonna get rolled for the early bird special, we might talk. But
that's it. They stopped on me because they thought maybe I was getting ready for a jog or something like that before work. No. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. But seriously, like, since that happened, like, that's when, like, ever since then, I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's something else going on with all that. I don't know.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm gonna go in depth here.
Yeah.
Ready for this one? We're gonna
Let's
we're
do
gonna
it.
we're gonna do a little Ghostbusters theme here, but we're gonna cross the streams.
Oh, I love that.
Just have to give that analogy to you. There have been discussions. I may have even been part of these discussions.
Oh hell!
That not only is Bigfoot a cryptid, but the reason we cannot find anything from him when he passes is because he's from another dimension.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
I mean, I totally believe in that possibility.
Okay.
Like, it's fascinating, in fact, like to me, that this is because it would explain why haven't we found carcass?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, certainly, like, enough people have had experiences that this would foster more, more research in all of this,
right?
Which I think we're doing a great job. Sure.
Yeah.
I just, with as many people looking into this, I mean, where are the bodies? I mean, just anything. There are people out there that claim they're like, oh no, I know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
I know where their nests are. I know where this is. It's like, okay.
Then where are they?
Where's the footage of that? Where's the video? Where's the photographs? Where's the whatever of this? Like, I would love to see that, because you can do amazing things with photography.
Correct.
These days. And so it would explain a lot. And, like, it really would.
And it's funny. So the funny thing is that you say that is because I'm the one who actually brought that theory up on the show I was on. I'm like, well, why wouldn't it be? Like, I think it's the same thing with what people call Nessie. They've done the searches and everything else, but I mean, we have UFOs, we have USOs, which is the underwater, Right. So why couldn't she just be hitting a dimensional portal and just going out? And how many of them are at that dimension? Maybe it's not the same one they keep seeing coming up.
Dude, like I'm telling you, there's a really weird theory as well that's out there too that kind of says that it's all connected.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? That's a fair point too, Stuart.
It is.
How many bear carcasses do you find? I like that. No, that's fair. I like that. So there's this other theory out there that would suggest that if you would imagine like an octopus, right? And you have the giant head and then you have the tentacles, right? That this could all be an all-enveloping type of thing regarding all things paranormal. One tentacle would be ghosts. One tentacle would be cryptids. One tentacle would be aliens, UFOs, things like that. And all of these different facets of the paranormal, all leading up to one singular source. Now, whatever that source may be, I don't know. But I don't think I want to know. But, there.
So.
Yeah. It is all connected. See? It's crazy. So
Expedition Bigfoot showed a Bigfoot shadow on a canyon wall, but no physical sighting.
Oh, interesting. So a Bigfoot shadow. What the hell was that?
Uh-oh. Someone's coming in to talk. They know that we're talking, so they want to come in and talk.
I don't know.
So I'm doing
a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of work in the studio here. Like, we're painting it. I'm going to get in like new light fixtures, new flooring, like all this stuff. It's going to look spooky as hell in here.
Nice.
But yeah, I think I may have disturbed something or pissed something off.
Someone's not happy about the work being done.
This is quite the process. Trust me. I may have pissed something off. I'm not sure.
So for people who don't know what we're talking about, who came in late, Josh is actually at Malvern Manor, which is his haunted location that he owns. And it literally is actually haunted. So he may just be having some paranormal activity right now that's letting him know that they're there. And for those people, because Josh never actually admitted this to the crowd here. Yeah. But when he said that Johnny Hauser was like, all right, it's time to go. And he's like, no, we have to stay here. Yeah. Josh is a coward.
I am, honestly. And that's just it. It's like, when it comes to like filmmaking and stuff like that, like, it's weird because I get in that zone and it's like, I'm going to get this footage. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, I become like, I don't know, just weird animal. It's like, I'm going to get this footage. And it's like, even Hauser being like, I want to go home. And I'm like, no, like, sorry, dude. It's like, I just witnessed 6 UFOs fly over our head and I'm still standing here.
Yeah.
That should tell you everything. We're not going anywhere.
But if I'm standing with Josh, in Malvern,
Dude.
and he's just like just hanging out with us, and he hears something. He's like, "All right, guys, I gotta go."
Yeah, like
Look at the time.
I do that Iowa goodbye where I slap both my knees, and I'm like, well, I suppose I should
That's
take the dusty trail.
Oh, look at my wife texted. I gotta go.
Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know.
Did I see your phone? No, I erased it.
Yeah, sorry, I just raised it. Yeah, kids are sick, grown up. I don't know what's going on.
So going back to that shadow, Stuart says it crossed between a flashlight and the wall, and there was no sighting.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right?
Okay. So, I mean, that would suggest even more so then that this could be something like, I mean, maybe that spot right there was that portal that you were talking about, right? Like that cross between dimensions. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I need to go on more Bigfoot excursions. I do. I've only been on a couple. So,
yeah, I haven't been on any. William.
The first one that I went on was in Wisconsin, and it was negative 45 degrees, and it was not a fun time for me.
Oh yeah, that's not fun.
Not at all.
That's not fun. I've been in that weather on purpose for the military, and that wasn't fun either.
Yeah, screw that noise.
You know, that was not fun either. So, no, the only thing I remember when I lived in Wisconsin, because I lived in Wisconsin for 4 years on a dairy farm. I remember everything about the farm. Yeah. I remember all that wonderful stuff. And the only other thing I remembered is the fact that I swore I was in Kansas because my house almost got picked up by a tornado, and that was about it.
Damn,
so
dude.
it was time to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's like, nope, no thanks. Oh my gosh, man. That's crazy though.
Oh. I was like, what?
There we go.
So he's telling you episode 1 of season 3 is when it was on.
Sweet. I'm definitely going to check this out.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Because that's awesome stuff.
So Jamie, you can come out. Jamie, oh yeah, that's right. You're down south. You can always come up here and hang out with me and Josh when it's winter. You'll have all kinds of fun.
Oh my god!
The good news is that when your nose runs, it doesn't run very far because it just freezes straight to your face. So that's for you. So you don't have to worry about that. And during the winter, if you have allergies, you don't have to worry about your allergies. Allergies are dead during the winter.
Yeah, everything's dead. Yeah, nothing. It's terrible.
So you've also done a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few for sure.
Yeah.
You know, just little guest spots here and there, and things like that.
Any of them that just stand out to you, like, dude, that was awesome.
For me, like the biggest and the coolest experience for me was, I mean, when we did like Paranormal Lockdown, like when Nick and Katrina came here.
Yeah.
That was my first introduction into the world of paranormal reality TV.
Right.
And I was fully prepared to have my heart broken because I didn't know, okay, do they really stay on site for 3 days, or they got a hotel somewhere that they're going to shower?
Yep.
All this stuff. Like they're probably going to sleep there, whatever. Like I had no clue what to expect. I was pleasantly surprised, you know, when they got here, and I mean, quite literally, they did not leave.
Right.
Did not leave. And I was like, okay.
Good on you.
Like this makes me feel better about this process, you know? Yeah. And I remember like, I mean, that was the first time I met Nick, you know, and him and I, like, I mean, sitting around and just BSing and talking and all that stuff. And just, it was a cool experience, you know, but I mean, for them to actually, I don't know, it was one of those cool things where I'm like, God, man, like your integrity points just went through the roof with me for actually sticking this out, doing what you're saying that you're going to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that was probably the one that sticks out the most.
Very cool
for me.
Yeah. And that's what's cool for us too, because so a lot of people know that I'm part of the Dimensional Encounters Paranormal, and that we come out and hang out with you.
Hell yeah.
And we do the thing. Josh lets us stay from Friday to Sunday, and we just camp out there.
Yeah.
Man, it is night and day from literally day to night.
It's weird, right?
It's weird, a whole different vibe at night than it is during the day. And my only problem that seems to run its course when I'm there is that I'm too dumb to know any better. because I don't have a fear factor. So I just run into shit. Like, I just don't care. It was like, look, shot him, man. I'm like, let's go get him. And they're like, Tom, you're not supposed to go. No, but we're going to go this way. We'll see you later. I turn around.
Where is that right there? You know, it's like, that's the essence of the investigation, right? If you just want to talk investigation, like, you would go towards the source, whatever that may be, right? Because you're an investigator, you're not an observer, right? So I mean, you go there, so that's what you're supposed to do. I get it. I respect the hell out of it, you know. I mean, that's what we do, right?
But I think I have that. I think I crossed that fine line of investigator to idiot. So, you know, I mean, there's been a few places we walked around and people have been like, I'm kind of sensing from something from that door. And I'm like, let's go check it out. And I'll open up the door and I'm like, oh, cool, portal. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Awesome. I'm going to see the other side of this. Yeah.
Right. Because I tell people, I mean, because Nikki will tell you, I have no fear of anything. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of bugs. I'm not afraid of. I eat bugs for protein. Come on, people. Really. And I tell people I have no fear of anything because I'm just too dumb to know any better. Jeez. You know, I mean, it's really what it is. I'm not a smart man. I am.
That's not true.
You can't fool me. I'm a moron.
I'm a moron. That's not true. I think you're just curious. I think that's what it is. You know what I mean?
I am. I'm always the one who wants to walk in, and it's funny too because a lot of people from the team are like, "Go ahead." Go first.
Off you go.
You lead the way. We'll be right behind you.
Yes, exactly. Off you go, sir.
Right. And your place is a perfect example because that Shadow Man hallway gets a different feeling when you're there at night. And when I was there with someone else that you had there when I was there last time, they're like, I think I see. I wonder, I'm not sure. And I'm like, let's go find out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it goes, though, right? I mean, it's just...
I tell people at least have the camera running, so if I die, at least you got it on film.
Dude,
you know, you got good film.
I always say that to my friends too when I'm about to do something really stupid. I'm just like, hey, avenge me, okay? Like,
right.
I'm like, just take care of it for me. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm one of those that's so dumb that my boss, I'm the only one in my office. My boss has to tell when I go overseas, Tom, don't cause an international incident. I'm the only one he's ever had to say that to. And I'm like, what are you? All right.
You know, the next time he says that crap to you, just look at him and just go, it'll be fine.
Well, I can tell you right now, until I'm done paying my fines, I'm not allowed back in Germany. So I got that going for me.
They can keep it, whatever. You don't need it. They can keep it. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that's how life rolls sometimes. Good thing I only work for the government, huh?
You know what? Different strokes for different folks,
right? Right?
Don't cause an international incident.
That's what he tells me. I didn't do very well.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
I'm like, well, it wasn't an international incident. It was just with one country. Is that okay?
Yeah. It's fine. Everything's fine.
And it's one we only say we like, but we really don't. So it's okay.
Yeah, there's that.
We just play nice with them. That's all.
Yeah, that's what you do, right? That's what you do.
Why do I have to play nice with Germany? Because they have good beer. Okay, fine.
It's like, that's fine. It's good enough reason.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God.
So what's next? What's coming up? You got lots.
Yeah.
You're not one that's still. You don't have that in you.
No, definitely not. No. So yeah, lots of traveling this summer for sure. Like different events and different paracons and different things like that, just kind of all over the place. At some point, like this fall, I would really like to just take a breath and just film something. You know what I mean? Like I'm working on some things right now that I would really like to film, and I want to do it. I want to just do it. Finding a week, you know, or so to do that. I've been, you know, like just this last year has been crazy in and of itself. I just got done filming a new documentary for Chad Kalick, so that'll be coming out shortly. I don't know when. But yeah, so I mean, I was on the film crew for that documentary.
Nice.
And then, which that was cool as shit anyway, just because like Chad Kalick and his documentaries were the reason that I wanted to start making films. And so to be asked to be a part of that was very humbling. It was one of those moments where you just kind of sit back and just take it all in.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, I mean, there's a documentary film that'll be released on the 8th of July with our good pal, Steve Shippey. I'm not sure if I'm a part of that yet. Like I filmed with him, but it's like, he has so much footage and all this stuff. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make the cut. Like, if I'm just being honest, I don't know. But yeah, so it's like, it's cool. If I am, I am. If I'm not, I'm not. Like, whatever, But yeah,
Right.
So it should be cool to see what.
Cool.
I'm excited just to see the film anyway.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. Now,
Yeah.
in October, I do know there is a Steve Shippey documentary that is releasing that I am more than definitely a part of. So that'll be October and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I mean, a very busy year coming up, but it's again that really good kind of busy,
Yeah.
So I'm working on another audiobook now for my friend Richard Estep, and then when I'm done with that one, I start the next one with him. So it's whatever I could sit down here at the microphone and record for an hour or two.
Start talking, yeah.
Just start recording, man. Just start reading, just start reading and do it. Yeah. Stuff, man. It's crazy.
I really think that you should. I want to see if you could hold your shit together if you did that. I want to bring you back on live. Yeah. And I'm just gonna have you record as you're doing your audio. Ooh. And I'm gonna have my audience be able to pipe in and see if you can hold it together.
I can now. Look, I can zone. That's my gift right there. Is like I can zone to the point where it's like nothing else exists. Right? You know what I mean? And so, because I've done like on my Patreon page, right? Like I'll do editing sessions like of films that I have upcoming, and so like. If you're on like the Patreon stuff, like you'll watch me make a film and then you get to make suggestions for the film and you get to do that. And then of course your names and stuff are in the credits and all of that fun jazz as well. But it's one of those really cool things that I don't have to zone out on that because I'm asking for their input, their feedback. But then a lot of times, thank you.
Look at that.
You, but yeah, so we're also like it's fun because we're creating, like together we're doing things together and creating. And I like that process.
Yeah.
Bouncing ideas off of one another. I enjoy that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So folks, go out and check this one out too. Patreon.com/Dr. I briefly went out there for a little bit to take a look at it. And it is very much a creative
it's weird
mind meld of stuff that's going on out there.
I tell you, like I'm putting something together right now for Patreon that is absolutely mind blowing. And I'm telling you right now, if people didn't have cameras running over this weekend, nobody would believe me because this was it. And I had like 25 witnesses to this, you know what I mean? As it happened, but Malvern Manor's history just got a rehaul. Like we found out there was about a 5-year gap that we had no idea.
Yeah.
We just filled in all the blanks.
Really?
Bro.
So
it was the trippiest goddamn thing. Like it was the weirdest thing ever.
That is awesome. But because I'll let you know, we have other teams that go out there to investigate your place and everything else. So one of them is one that we know very well. Paranormal Exposures goes out there. And she purposely has the book, the Malvern Manor. And it has the names of the people that were associated with Malvern Manor who were housed there throughout time and everything else. And it's funny because she gets the greatest reactions when she just simply turns on anything that you can hear from and just starts reading out the names. And you start hearing responses back left and right just from reading the names of the Malvern Manor book.
Yeah. And it's crazy.
Crazy, right? That's exactly the word to use. It's crazy how...
To be able to sit down with the book, I mean, it's literally every documented death on property.
Yeah.
you know, and to be able to sit down with the book while you're investigating, it's alphabetized by first name, because when we're investigating or whatever, that's generally the response we get. Oh, my name is Eddie, right? My name is whatever. You can flip right to the E's. You can find Eddie. It's a spiral bound book. So it's sitting right in front of you. Then you can literally drop it and continue forward. You can just keep going. So it's a very multi-purpose tool for investigating. But then you can read it, and you can also see very interesting things where, again, like people's storylines are kind of crisscrossing and all this stuff. I mean, dude, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So
and it's not like you get the very generic comments when this happens. I mean, there's recordings of people out there reading the book, and they'll be like, Richard, and I'm like, yes, this is Richard, and that's your response you get, and you're like, what in the ass? Are you serious right now?
And I think it's interesting because investigators will go to a location and they will say, who are we speaking to? Right. And I'm telling you, like, it's almost like, we're asking the right questions, but we're not. Now you have a very specific, like, name database here. I mean,
and it tells you Richard died at this time. So it gives you specifics. And then when that person comes back and goes, yes, this is Richard, and you're like, well, and then like you can ask again to confirm, and it will do it again. Because you're talking specifically about that person that was alive at that point, and they're very excited that now you're talking specifically about that person, and you can hear them. That's a big thing, that you can hear them. I can't tell you how many times, for people who don't know, I'm actually psychic, so I can hear most of the time. I'm still pretty new at it, but I can hear. And if I open myself up, I get bombarded because people are like, oh, you can hear me now, and you can talk to me, and you can see me. And when we do that through the book at Malvern, and we read from the book and the names and everything else, we're like, oh, that's me. Like,
that's awesome.
Hi.
Dude, I'm right here. Duh. Like, come on, man. Wait a second. You can hear me? Cool.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? What I sound like to a speaker? My voice sucks.
I think what everybody says, right?
Right? Everybody.
I don't sound like that.
That is not me.
Yeah. It's so
I just try to do Josh. Hi, Josh. So that's what I do.
So funny. So funny. And people would ask, they're like, hey man, they're like, oh, you just got that radio voice. I'm like, well, it's just how I talk. You know what I mean? It's not like I've worked towards this. And they're like, no, how do you do that? And I go, I don't know, whiskey and cigarettes, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
with my mouth? I mean, what do you want here?
Right, exactly. Jesus, man, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because I work with a guy, and he sounds just like the guy from Dirty Jobs. Can't think of his name.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Groff. He sounds just like him. And I'm like, dude, you are in the wrong job. Because he's a military guy. I'm like, you are in the wrong job. You can make millions just talking on radio or on commercials, whatever else.
Yes, sir.
So, and you have that same just, I mean, that's why you're doing the audiobooks. That's why you've been picked to do the audiobooks, because that voice is so, it's just that voice where people are like, and today we're going to be discussing.
So funny. I love that. And today.
Welcome to Josh Heard 101.
I've always wanted to do stuff like that. Like how, like you hear like Morgan Freeman, and you're just like, I want that guy to just narrate your life, it's like just the stupidest crap on the planet. He could make it sound so interesting. Because he just sounds like a sweet person, and it's a very wholesome voice, and you just love it. It's like, man, he's so perfect.
But it also turns to that same place. You got to pay attention to what you're saying, because you get lulled into that false sense of voice, and all of a sudden, Josh Heard is like, "Hi, I'm Josh Heard, and today I'm going to kill your family."
Exactly. It's like, I get to kill your family. It's like there was this one. It was weird because the majority of books that I've done, they're all paranormal. They're all paranormal in that vein, and I got reached out to by this author. And he was like, hey, man, I want you to narrate this book. It's about NFTs. And I was like,
yeah.
What? He's like, yeah, like like, okay, like the blockchain and weird stuff like that. Like, okay, like I
Yeah.
don't know much about this, but I'm certainly going to learn about this. Like, I'm like, I took the gig, but I was like, I don't know the first thing about NFTs or anything like that. But yeah, like it was fascinating. But I'm like, this isn't my gig, I don't know.
Pretty soon
I don't know what I'm doing.
Pretty soon you're gonna be in kindergarten classes and people are just gonna play recording from Josh and going, A, apple, B,
dude,
baby.
Baby. People will be like, what the hell is this? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Kill your whole family. Like, what?
You know who would have that awesome voice for that?
Who's that?
Right behind you. Mitch?
Mitch, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Mitch would be fantastic for that.
See, Mitch, though, like, I don't know. Mitch is weird.
But the problem is he couldn't hold it together to be that steady voice.
But that's the problem, is because like he's not reliable.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to like showing up for a job, you know what I mean? Like Mitch is going to screw this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, in some way.
Well, no.
This is a family show.
I'm sorry, pal.
Yeah. Come on, Mitch.
I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah, that's Mitch, everybody. So
oh, Mitch.
But
people, like the best is when he's like,
Chad, don't break balls.
Seriously, Chad. Seriously.
He almost sounds like Cartman from South.
Right? He does.
It's like,
you pipe down right now, Lindberg. You pipe it down right now.
Like he's
Lindberg, lippy. Man, I tell you.
Like he is lippy. So here's this one that was one of my favorites. I gotta find it. Oh, here, yeah.
Nick, go drink a protein shake and relax.
That's my favorite.
So I don't know if Mitch is Arcturian, Pleiadian.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he's just an asshole.
Well, would you look at that? It's a whole room full of participation trophies.
So bad.
It's like he's watching my show.
And so that's the BS that we have to deal with, on a nightly basis with the G Crew stuff.
Yes, with the G Crew. And I'm telling you guys, G Crew is definitely worth watching. Josh Hurd is definitely worth watching and listening to, especially on audiobook.
on audible.com. Oh my God, dude. It's so fun.
So I think I'm going to start wrapping it up. We've been yapping for about an hour and a half. So coming up, though, you got a whole bunch of crap going on.
Yeah.
Not to mention that you might still have a family if they let you back in the house after being gone so much.
Maybe. Yeah, like August is going to be brutal.
I'm pretty sure your wife only lets you in to help watch the kids. Otherwise, you'd be SOL'd. So
possibly, yeah. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Busy. So, but hey, I want to give more shout outs. Let's do this really quick again. Josh Hurd Productions, joshhurd.net. If you want to contact him, joshhurdbooks@hotmail.com. Reach out to there. Give love. Go out there. Look at all this. If we talked about all the videos or all the little productions you've made with West with Evil 1 through 3, the Intelligence Design in 1903. If you go out to those, you can see all the trailers and everything else. They're fantastic. Go out and check them out. Also want to invite you guys to go out to Josh Hurd's Patreon, www.patreon.com/JoshHurd. Go out there, check it out, man. That is such cool stuff. A lot of collaboration going on. A lot of despite the fact that I can become a part of it if I really wanted to, there's still a lot of great, brilliant thinking going on. I would just bring the IQ's level down a little bit.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
So go out there, check out everything he's doing. It's fantastic. Much love, brother. I appreciate you coming on. Mitch, appreciate you coming on too.
Yeah.
You asshole.
He's such a dick.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to throw you backstage so I can shut the show down, and I'll be right back on, and I will jump back on with you here in a second. So,
thank you, brother.
All right, brother. See you in a second. All right, everyone. Let me close these out really quick. Just so you know, You can always find me on Facebook.com, Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. I am also now on Twitch TV/Stuff I Never Learned. I do have a YouTube channel, but it's about this long, and I will actually type it up when I remember how to type that much. But I'll get that kicked out to you. Also, remember, go out and check out our Dimensional Encounters Paranormal. That is my investigation team that I'm a part of. We have Facebook.com Dimensional Encounters, Instagram.com Dimensional Encounters. And our YouTube channel has another one of those long-ass funky names. You can go out and check us out just by typing in Dimensional Encounters Paranormal. You'll see all of our stuff out there. So go support us, all that wonderful stuff. Again, please go out and check out Josh Hurd. He's a fantastic guest, a wonderful person, and just an all-around good guy, and he's doing great things. So let's make sure we show him some love and support as well. Next, I have a special show coming on Wednesday for those who have not seen that yet. Much love, people. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it there, Stuart. But Wednesday night, I'm doing a special presentation with Bill Slevin. He's going to be on here, and we are actually going to have on Tony, who is the founder of the Phantasm Orlando, and we're also going to have on Shelly, and she runs the Shock Reels. So we're going to go ahead. She's ahead of all those out there. So we're going to go ahead and have them on Wednesday. They're going to talk about the Phantasm Orlando and a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, it's the out of cycle show for me. I normally do stuff Monday nights, but I wanted to make sure I got them on before the Phantasm Orlando happened. So I'm bringing them on Wednesday. It's going to be a great conversation. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. It's going to be really exciting. So make sure you guys come back and check that out on Wednesday night. Next week, I will have on another guest. Melinda Williams will be here. She is a psychic medium as well as an actress. So she's going to be on here. I will be putting up the post for her tomorrow, like I normally do, the day after the show starts, or after this show ends. So you'll be getting a couple of posts from her as well coming up. So thank you very much, people. I love you all. Thank you for coming on, and we will go ahead and we will see you Wednesday night, 7 p.m. right here. And then again, Monday night, same place. All right?